Welcome back to the We Are Here podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Tony.
And today we're joined by Paula Krohe and Jessica Pastirik, two of our members. Jessica is one of our staff members here at Central Church of Christ. And Paula is our project leader for Operation Christmas Child. And Jessica is our Central Drop-Off team leader for a great ministry in our church that we love so much and has a huge impact all across the globe.
The passion these two ladies have for this ministry is palpable.
Yes.
Palpable, I say. I love it. For this one, it was really nice for me because I got to sit back and listen to it because with two guests, I usually take a side seat. But it was awesome just to hear them talk about this ministry. I was super impressed with the packing of that box.
Yes.
Like
nowhere.
Yeah. I was floored with what is in that box. So be sure to listen for that and enjoy this podcast.
Welcome back to the We Are Here podcast. We are here today with Paula Krohe and Jessica Pastirik, who are members of our church. Jessica's on staff with our church as our director of operations. Today, we're talking about their role with Operation Christmas Child. Paula is our project leader here at the church. Paula is our project leader here, and Jessica is the Central Drop-Off team leader here at Central Church of Christ. So we're going to talk about Operation Christmas Child today, and we're so excited to have both you ladies. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So we always like to start off just asking people a little bit about themselves. You're from Streator and from the Streator area, so I don't know who wants to go first, but tell us a little bit about yourself. Jessica, you mind going first? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what was it like growing up in Streator?
I was born and raised in Streator. I had a wonderful childhood. I'm a Streetorite through and through. I did a couple small stays in California as a young adult, but mainly 57 of my 58 years have been in Streator. And so I've always been proud to be from Streator. I lived on the south side of town and had the joy of having the boys' baseball field at the end of our street, so that was kind of my backyard playground. And so I was the youngest of 5 girls to Duke, a cement finisher, very respected in the community. And my mom was famous for her tacos. And so, I love Streator, and it was a joy to raise our kids here.
And now you're famous for those tacos, too.
A little bit.
So
I'm trying.
Good. Paula, tell us a little bit about, you didn't grow up in Streator, but in the area. Tell us a little bit about that.
I grew up in Grand Ridge and attended this church as a child and youth group as a teen, and became involved in the church's ministry, working with the adults, through VBS, with the children, and I work as a school nurse at Grand Ridge Grade School, so I have a heart for children, and I like to see their joys, and I know sometimes their troubles and their concerns, and I'm just always glad to help their situations, to help the families. So when I saw that this opportunity was available through Operation Christmas Child, I jumped on that because it was one of my passions. Absolutely. Working with for kids. Yes.
Good. So, Jessica, you've been a part of the church for about 25 years, I think, and then Paul, since you were a child, Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how the community has changed, how Streator, the area has changed. Maybe even, we don't usually ask this because we don't usually have members of our church here, but even how have you seen the church grow and change over the years, and how has that been different from when you were a child, when you were growing up in the area?
I see a lot more of community service, a lot more community involvement, bringing in outside people to do have one main goal, one main focus. Instead of being different churches in the area, we have one mission, and it's nice to be a part of that. And you can do big things as Definitely. A big group.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I actually wrote that down. I think that's one of the special things about Streator is there is a lot of people in this community working publicly, but then just as many, if not more, working behind the scenes to make things work. And I've never seen as many churches and as many organizations come together to find solutions.
Yeah.
At the city level, the nonprofit level, the church level, the school level. It's really unique to see everybody working together.
Yeah, there's a lot of intent behind it, a lot of planning, a lot of
Yeah.
communication behind the scenes that people probably don't even realize to make these big things happen
Every
locally.
single
Yeah,
week.
yeah, that's
and
really
things
great.
are planned out months and years in advance.
Yeah, well, and even we're going to get into this a little bit, but even talking about Operation Christmas Child, this is a year-round thing for our church. It's not just around Christmas time. It's a year-round thing, and so we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit on that. Before we do that, just what's one thing you love about our city today? We talked about the volunteerism, but just anything, whether it's just being a part of a small community. What's one thing you just absolutely love about Streator today?
I think I kind of answered it in that people working behind the scenes to make things happen, but then there's so many opportunities available too. I mean, our teachers, our school counselors, so many people help our youth and are really for them, trying to give them the skills, helping them, with scholarships. Our city awards so many scholarships.
Yeah, I think they had $330,000.
$340,000.
$340,000.
Yes,
Yeah,
Your daughter
I
received.
have a
goodness.
senior in high school who was a recipient
Yeah.
and of many scholarships. Very, very thankful.
Yeah.
And all those are local scholarships. There was a lot of people that have a heart for Streator and a lot of people who believe in the youth of Streator that they can make a difference. And the community is fabulous with coming together in that perspective.
Yeah, just crazy generosity.
The support is fantastic.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's what I think we're known for, is our outrageous generosity.
Yeah.
And we find volunteer opportunities, whether a person's 3 years old or 100.
Yeah.
There are volunteer opportunities in
Yeah.
our town for them.
Absolutely. Well, let's like I said, let's pull back the curtain a little bit on Operation Christmas Child. So let's talk about the why first. Kind of why does Operation Christmas Child exist? What needs are being met by OCC for children and families around the globe? So let's start with that. Why does it exist? What needs are being met through this ministry?
Well, first of all, Operation Christmas Child is a project of Samaritan's Purse, which is a larger organization. And in the 1990s, there was a couple, I believe, from the United Kingdom that started this. And then about 3 years later, that's where Samaritan's Purse got involved. And then it has just grown and grown since then. I think it's in over 170 countries, and over 232 million children have received a shoebox since that time, and so it's just grown. And Paula's always thinking too, and our volunteers who's that one more child that can receive a shoebox. And so they kind of have a philosophy that it's one child, one gift, one lifetime.
Yeah.
And so they're always going to poverty, war-torn areas, and then they have a whole strategic plan where the next year it will go somewhere else. And so there's whole teams, logistics, that work that out to go into areas. And some are in the United States as well,
Yeah.
especially when things have been affected.
Yeah.
So they're very good at meeting those needs. But it's all about us as a local church and a local community being able to have a global impact. So that's another unique thing about Streator. Whether it's Operation Christmas Child, Lifeline meal packing, we do a lot of things that affect the world in a global sense.
Yeah.
From Streator.
Yeah, and it's not just what's in the box. I know, Paul, you brought some of these things too. That there's more than just the box. They receive the box, but then there's also some gospel material they receive. It's also instruction that they receive from a local community. They're connected with schools, local pastors. There really are. It's really an in-depth connection that's made through Samaritan's Purse. And then, you mentioned that is a larger organization. They don't. This is just one of their ministries. They have disaster relief. They have so many other things that they do. Education, things like that, all over the world, including in the United States. So it really is an impactful ministry. So how did this get started in Streator? We've been doing this, I think, for about 20 years. I think we said. Is that what we said the other day? So how did it all get started here?
I'm not sure the full history, but I can tell you for the 21 years that I've been here, I know there's been people packing shoeboxes in Streator. So when about 21 years ago, Central started packing shoeboxes, and we would drop them off at First Baptist Church, which is now I think called New Beginnings. So they were our drop-off point, and when they stopped being a drop-off point, the children's minister and some of us volunteers would end up taking them to Bloomington, and then we started taking them to Naperville or wherever the central drop-off location was located. And then somebody said, "Where are you coming from?" And so we were always driving to drop off these shoeboxes. And they said, "Would you consider being a drop-off?" And then when they came and visited our church, they're just like, "You have a pretty big church.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider being a central drop-off?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is." Yeah. And they said, "Well, that's where area churches would feed into you, and the semis would come to your church, and they would be packed." And so that's kind of the process. Like Paula and a lot of volunteers and children and people in the community pack the shoe boxes, and then during National Collection Week, the third week in November, they bring them to us. And we actually have one semi, but in recent years we've had to call for another semi, and we're hoping to have 3 semis this year. And then you strong guys all get to help over that weekend and load the semis.
Yeah.
And so it started that way, and it just kind of continued. So now we have 7 different churches that are called drop-offs, and they each have a team. And so from their area, so like people will feed into Ottawa, Kankakee, Morris, and everybody will drop off for Streator area. People from Pontiac and the surrounding areas will drop them off to Streator.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like the hub.
Yep. Yeah, and it is very much a hub and spoke kind of model.
Yes.
Ours goes to another kind of regional drop-off center in Aurora, I think. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what's neat is, and Paula has taken volunteers up there because there's another way that you can volunteer that she'll probably share a little bit about that.
They process the boxes in Aurora. There's a distribution place in Aurora, and I had the opportunity to go last year with some friends, and we saw all the drop-off locations bring in their semi-loads, and we processed those boxes. We opened the boxes to make sure that they were full and that they were fun and that they had all the appropriate items and that nothing was inappropriate, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we made sure that they were taped up and organized to be shipped off into big cardboard boxes to be then distributed to any location that they wanted. That they had planned. So it was neat to see on that end, but it was also eye-opening to see how many boxes maybe weren't full. So that inspired me to make sure that our boxes are top-notch here at Central. The ones that we pack here with the youth, the ones that we pack with the Hollybrook residents, that we make sure that they are full so that those children get. We don't want to send to air in those boxes because they have air. We want to make sure that they are full. And that's something that's one of my main concerns is that we don't give our work to someone else. But it is exciting to see how many people pack boxes and to see all the exciting things that they put in the boxes, all the homemade items and the crocheted dresses for dolls. It's amazing to see, and it's heartwarming to see all of the support that the areas give to the shoe boxes.
Yeah. And so just kind of backing up a little bit. So Paula, you're the project leader for this. Have been for how long? A couple years?
Probably 4 years, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
I was involved in the PTO at Grand Ridge Grade School, and every year we had a Santa secret shop for the kids to buy gifts, inexpensive gifts for their families. And so the joy that I saw that those kids would come in and pick out gifts for their family, just giving to those people that they loved, and to pick out something so special, personalized for those loved family members. That was just a highlight of my year. Well, then my kids grew up and I was no longer a part of the PTO.
Yeah.
So I focused those efforts to the shoe boxes. And it was just so at the time that they needed a project leader. And I just fell in love with the shoe boxes, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I just felt it's my passion.
Yeah. Well, and that shows. It
She's
really
so
does.
good at it.
Yeah.
And it's neat to release something to somebody who, like, it's
Yeah.
part of their DNA that they love God, love kids.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that passion does show. And from you and from your team, it's so good to just see so much care that goes into each box that's packed.
So now instead of doing it just Christmas time, I get to do it.
You get to do it
year-round.
all the time. Yeah.
I get to do it all the time.
Absolutely. So let's talk about packing a box. We've been talking about kind of what's in the boxes, and so walk the listeners through that process of packing and sending a box. So let's start with, you've got a box here. Let's show us what they are. Tell us about the process.
It could be any box.
Yeah.
And at the processing place, they use these boxes that were provided by Operation Christmas Child, or there was just plain shoe boxes.
Mm-hmm.
But any standard shoe box, there was even a few boot boxes that came through. But it was mostly this size of box that we packed, and then we pack it full of, and I don't know if you can see this or not.
When we say full, we mean full.
It's full. It's full. Like I said, we don't pack air. We fill in every nook and cranny of something the kids would be excited about or can use. We pack useful things, school supplies, hygiene supplies, things that they can play with, that they can share with each other, games and toys and picture books. We have some kids aren't able to go to school unless they have the supplies they need. We are limited in that we can't send anything that's liquid.
Yeah.
So we can't send a bottle of glue, but we can send glue sticks.
Right.
We can send pens and pencils and erasers and pencil sharpeners and tape. We can send scissors, and we package it all into a pencil pouch. And we pack a coloring book and a full-size notebook. It's a little bit strategically packed so you can fit it in there. Hygiene supplies, we can't send anything that's liquid.
Yeah.
So no toothpaste, no
Shampoo,
mouthwash,
conditioner,
shampoos,
things like that. Yeah.
no razors, of course. That would
Yeah.
be not a good idea.
Yeah.
But we can send washcloths, and we can send nail clippers even. We can send toothbrushes, and we do. We put those in. We put those toothbrushes in a holder, and we can. Sometimes we send a couple of them, depends on how many we have, and we always send a cup. A cup can be used for lots of things, for drinking, for digging in the sand, for just eating out of. And then we send usually a stuffed animal, something soft that they can love on. And they have, sometimes we have activity books or little art kits. And we always try to pack clothes in the box.
Yeah.
They're separated by age group. So you have age 2 to 4, and then you have 5 to 9, and then you have 10 to 14. Boy or girl, you can choose for boy or girl, and then you pack according to that age group and by gender. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun
Yeah.
putting together little themed boxes. Just personalize it to your liking. Some people decorate the inside of the shoebox lid, write them a little note,
and picture in there. If you want,
a picture of your family. It's just the child receiving this box. This is the prize. Yeah. It's just such a prize to them, and it's such a treasure that they just enjoy everything that's in the box, big, little. As long as things are unused, new, we want to make sure it's quality items that will last for those kids, for their families, because they share with their families.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, when you're packing a box, how do you decide? there's only so much room. You want to fill it. Mm-hmm. How do you decide what goes and what doesn't? As far as, there's obviously some items that you can't put in there that you shouldn't put in there. But if people they're just kind of lost and, well, I don't know what to pack in my box. What would you tell somebody that doesn't
There's things we pack in every box.
Yeah.
We pack underwear and socks in every box. We like to pack up maybe a T-shirt or a pair of shorts. We pack the school supplies, things that you would put in a pencil pouch, minus the liquid glue, of course. Washcloths.
Everyday items.
Every box
items,
that we send has a washcloth, has a toothbrush and a holder, has a cup in it, has a coloring book, crayons, things like that any age of child, if somebody wants to get involved and just collect coloring books or just collect washcloths or toothbrushes, set goals for yourself and just keep meeting those goals and let God direct you and the next move.
And I say for all the bargain shoppers and the coupon queens and kings, drop off all year long when you get a good deal on something.
Yeah.
And we always try to include a wow item because we want the boxes to be fun too. So maybe a baseball or a soccer ball deflated for.
I saw the soccer ball
for
in
the
there.
boys.
This actually is a volleyball.
Or volleyball.
I have a heart for volleyball.
Yeah.
This is a volleyball, deflated, and it has the pump inside.
That's neat.
So, and it fits nice in the cup.
Nice.
So they can kick it on the ground. They can pass it back and forth. It's whatever, but it's something that'll last, and they will be so just overjoyed to play with their friends and to just have fun.
And you said we were talking about community earlier. That's an instant community creator.
Yeah.
A kid with a ball, right?
And even if you don't have a child, you could grab your neighborhood kid or grandchild or somebody and take them to the store for you, and they will give you tons of suggestions.
Yeah.
Legos and yo-yos are really big.
Yeah.
And marbles are huge. Colored rubber bands, if anybody can find the rubber band balls, putting different colored rubber bands and being able to trade them with your friends is a big deal.
Yeah.
Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Barbie dolls, just things that noisemakers. We could talk for a long time about things that the kids would enjoy, but harmonicas and little flutes and anything that makes noise. They just love those things.
Just use your imagination. Think like a kid, of that age group. And there are some universal things. And you said, Paul, too, just if you're a prayer, we hope you all are, but praying about it, just asking God, what does this child need, and then trust that God's going to guide you in that. We've heard so many stories,
Absolutely,
about the yo-yo.
There's been different
we've met box recipients.
They have come and we say, well, what kind of wow items? And they said wow items are different for everybody receiving them. One person was so excited to get a toothbrush because then they're like, I don't have to share it with 6 other people.
Yeah.
And that was their wow item.
Yeah.
And then some families will put a picture of their family in the shoebox. And one of the recipients that came and talked to us one time says, I put it under my mattress every night, and I imagined that was my imaginary family.
Oh, wow.
So that was their wow item, including a picture of your family.
Yeah.
In it.
So pack a box. You can do it on your own, or we do have a place set up here where people can come pack boxes. And so tell us a little bit about that. So we have parties kind of throughout, I guess you would call them, throughout the year, or youth or children's ministry.
Yeah. Christmas in July.
Yep, Christmas in July is part of that. Go ahead and tell us about that. So if somebody wants to pack a box here, what's that look like?
Yeah. She has a whole room set up. So the youth will come during their mission week. The children will come at organized time. If your organization wants to come, you just set up a time with Paula or I, and we'd be happy to do that. But you can pack them in your home, but we'd love to have you here as well. In July, she has Hollybrook coming over, and they're going to be packing 40 boxes.
Yeah.
And so she'll kind of pre-assemble it. And like we said, we've had little kids help pack the shoe boxes, and we have adults that need to sit in a chair while they pack a shoe box, and we'd love to have people partner with us.
Absolutely. So the box is packed. It comes here. Then what? Where does it go from there? How does that get packed up from here? It gets put in a carton. Take us through that process a little bit. So kind of start to finish. The box is packed, and then what?
Our church family, the youth, the people from the church, we usually pack 1,000 boxes here at our church. And that does not include the boxes that are brought in from our church members. But here in our church with the youth, we pack 1,000 boxes. And then the third week of November, we add those boxes to the boxes that the community brings in during National Drop-Off Week. And there's 15 shoe boxes of the average size shoebox that fits in a big cardboard box. So the semi is loaded with those big cardboard boxes that have 15 shoe boxes in each one. Do you know how many boxes that we loaded into the semi truck last year?
Why, yes, I do. 9,164.
And that's the shoe boxes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's in 2 semi trailers, 5x5 stacked front to back. I mean, the first trailer is completely full. There's barely any room to close the door. And then the remainder of the other
we
trailer.
don't know where they're going to be shipped to.
Yeah.
We just send them to Aurora, and they determine where they're going to be sent out.
Yeah.
After that, where they know where the shoe boxes are going, they add biblical material to
Which you've got-
their
yeah, you got an example
in
of,
their
yeah.
language.
Yeah.
So before the children even receive their box, and they don't know they're going to receive the box.
Yeah.
They just know that it's a children's event going on in their city, in their country. Before they even open the box, before they know about the box, they get a little booklet. This is provided by Operation Christmas Child. This is called The Greatest Gift. And
Yeah.
we know that the shoe boxes, and as wonderful as these shoe boxes are, that's not the greatest gift. The greatest gift is Jesus Christ. And so this booklet tells them about Jesus and about his life and the impact he had on people. And then we share God's love by giving them a shoebox, and they can feel a tangible way to feel God's love. After they receive their box, then they receive a book in their language, The Grand Adventure. And this is I think it's 12
weeks.
12
The Greatest
weeks.
Journey, yeah.
Bible stories
Yeah.
about Jesus, about the Bible, so the children can learn salvation and eternal life and know what that's about. And when they come and they finish all these lessons, then they get a New Testament in their language. So our $10 that we donation for each box doesn't just pay for shipping. It pays for the training of the adults that's going to teach the kids about Jesus, about Jesus' life, his love for them, and that's what counts.
Yeah. Yeah, all that is included in the kind of the distribution of the boxes to their final location. And that's also, that's a place for those kids to go for those 12 weeks and to connect with people, and a local church that's involved in that, local pastors that are involved in that as well. And it really is a well thought out process and very, very involved. I mean, there's so many moving parts to it, but every year it's done with precision. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes to make that happen. But
I mean, from the church to the cartons to the semi to the distribution center to the cargo to the planes, trains, camels,
automobiles, elephants,
elephants,
canoes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like they take them to remote areas.
Yeah, there are. Well, I mean, we've seen pictures and videos of marching through the jungle with people carrying them on their backs, and people taking them down a river in a canoe. And I mean, they go to the most remote places.
And in some areas, they don't allow biblical material, religious material into the country. But since we have gifts for the kids, they don't turn those away.
Yeah, they'll allow the children to receive
opened
those
a lot
things.
of doors.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great ministry. And so let's talk about, we talked a little bit about how people can come pack boxes. So that's part of getting involved in this. You can literally come anytime right now and get a box from our church, or use your own shoe box, or you can donate items, of course, things like that. But what are some of the other ways that people from the Streator area specifically can come get involved? We talked about groups getting involved, maybe even beyond packing a box. Maybe if they want to pack a box, fantastic. We encourage everyone to do that. But what are some other ways they can get involved with OCC?
Definitely the shopping. Paula and her mother-in-law do a great job, and other people find them bargains. But the need's great, and if we have enough items to pack 2,000 boxes, we'll pack 2,000 boxes. So people can shop, donate, but also there is a very small fee that should go along with each box, like the $10 for shipping, which is way more. And if some people have even taken a box just to see and say, I want to send this to Botswana or somewhere and everything, and then they realize that $10 is nothing what it would take for you to mail that one box. When they come back and say, do you know it would be $73 or $93?
Yeah.
So people that, or companies that are financially able to help contribute, if you can write a check for $500, then send 50 boxes, that's awesome. So we need the people to pack, we need the people to pray, we need the people that can financially help, and everything in between.
Yeah. Groups getting involved, packing, volunteering with it. Any size group? I mean, is it what?
Yeah, a group of one.
Yeah, 1, 2. What's a maximum as far as
at
group
one
size?
time? Sometimes we'll have people like building boxes because it's hard to fit like 25 people at one time. So Paula will divide them up. Sometimes
And when the youth pack, we like to have an adult kind of monitor those kids and talk to them. If you were that age, what would you like?
Yeah.
What do you need to go with the coloring book? You need crayons, so let's put some crayons in there. What do you think that they need for school? Let's grab a pencil pouch. And we talk to those kids about putting the boxes together. And our kids in our community don't always realize that there are kids less fortunate than they are, and that a cup would bring a lot of joy to somebody that doesn't have one, that would like to have their own toothbrush or their own washcloth, their own white pair of socks is exciting. And so we can reiterate those things, the values that we want to relay. We can make sure that those kids realize just exactly how much they are helping.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling for those kids.
Yeah, it makes you grateful for what you do have.
Yes.
And realizing that I've heard students say this, even when I've packed, or my own children when they've packed boxes, they don't realize until they're sending a toothbrush to a kid across the world that they can't just go to Dollar General and buy a pack of 5 of these, and for a couple dollars. That's not a thing that exists elsewhere in the world. And so I think it does make young people especially more grateful. Hopefully all of us makes us more grateful. But
even a piece of paper, because I've been in countries where they keep erasing and using the piece of paper over and over again. So packing erasers and those pencil pouches is a big deal.
Yeah. So just kind of backing up, again, going back to that idea of why. Why is it so important that we serve not only just with Operation Christmas Child, but Lifeline meal packing? Why do you see it as so important for us to serve people across the world? People we're never going to meet, most likely. Why do you feel that's so important for people in a community like Streator to look outside themselves and serve people in the world?
Well, I think it teaches the youth to help others at a young age and to focus on the needs of others, because that's in our reality that's a whole lifetime of people have to realize, put others before yourselves. And it teaches the kids at a young age that what they do matters, and that it's always going to be it's always going to be there.
Yeah, there'll always be a need.
Yeah.
And like, this isn't a dress rehearsal. We have one shot of this, and people can make a difference. I mean, those people that are praying. I love hearing the stories how a child has wished for something for so long and prayed for something.
Yeah.
And a baseball glove, will show up in their box, and they'll be like, "How did you know?" Or a coat. and that child needed that coat, and I believe it's the prayers of
Yeah.
people.
Absolutely. Well, it goes back to what we said at the beginning, that all of these things working together, all these people working together. One person, except for Jesus, one person's not going to change the world, but we can all come together and do it. We can change the world for one kid.
And Scripture tells us to go and make disciples of all nations. And by you sending a box, or you contributing financially, or you praying for that box, that's you going.
Yeah, you're filling that Great Commission.
You're going to the ends of the world by participating.
So, can you think of it? And I apologize for putting you in a spot for this. Can you think of any stories? Maybe somebody wasn't really sure about this, or wasn't really ready to get involved with it. Anybody that you've seen that changed people here locally?
We have a spring giveaway that our church hosts every spring, and we have tables set up, and we just give away our items. It's not a yard sale. It resembles a yard sale, but nothing is priced. People from the church donate things that we can give away in exchange for a donation to help pay for the shipping, for the youth packing. And that's our opportunity to share the mission of Operation Christmas Child. And there are so many people that ask what's the donation money going to, and that's our time to witness to those people, to say, this is what it goes for. Isn't it exciting to see? And there's a lot of people that don't know about Operation Christmas Child. And we've had people donate, well, here's a full box of washcloths, because they're just, they fell in love with the mission and with the shoebox packing. And going to yard sales, I give them a little pamphlet if they have new items that they can't get rid of, and they just show up at the church because of they know they can be put to good use.
Yeah. I've been at the senior expo out at the Y, and
Absolutely.
You've had boxes out there before, and had people walk up and they're like, well, "What's this?" And they see it's a brightly colored box, and not around Christmas either at the senior expo, and so you just kind of see people do a double take, and then they start reading about it, and they're like, "Oh, this is so easy to get involved with," and it's like, it's really not. There's such an easy entry level of just getting involved, of just packing a shoebox,
And often people have so much fun doing that.
Yeah.
So at the expo, they'll take an empty box home to fill up,
Yeah.
and they'll come to drop it off, and then they have another shopping bag, and they're like, and here's all the stuff I couldn't fit in the box, so put it in another box.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is so much fun.
And businesses in town that have had different promotions, that have like promotional cups or pens or something like that, we get calls often and say, hey, could you use this for the shoe boxes? And we're like, absolutely.
Yeah. So just kind of thinking now toward the future, how would you, both of you, how would you like to see this continue to grow? Because it is a growing ministry. How would you like to see OCC at Central and in Streator grow in the future?
I would like to see different community involvement, like maybe a Boy Scouts club or a 4-H group, or just another small group at different church get together and make it their mission to pack 10 boxes, 15 boxes to bring the third week of November. Have fun packing it with a small group of your own. Just have a party, a family party or friend party, and make it your mission to decorate boxes. Or nothing is too small. Nothing is too small or undervalued.
Yeah.
And you brought up a good point, like the different groups do it, but there's many people also that do it in memory. I have a daughter that went home to be with the Lord, and so I pack boxes in her memory, and there's several other people in the church, so they'll put like a picture of their loved one and pack it in their memory, and then it becomes a fun thing for that family to honor their loved one that way. And then in specific terms, so we have, like I said, in Morris and Ottawa, we have a lot of great drop-off leaders, but we need a drop-off leader or church or organization in the Pontiac area and in the Kankakee area. So if you're listening,
from those
give
areas,
us a call.
call us. Yeah,
because there is a lot of people that want to contribute, but maybe don't want to drive their boxes all the way to Streator.
Yeah.
So strategically, if we had somebody that could collect boxes for that third week in November.
Yeah.
That would be great, so we could reach more people. And like I said, we filled 2 semis, and we had a 20% increase from 23 to 24. So I'd like to have more people receive a shoebox, a child. Like I don't want them to wait. I want them to have it this year.
And I think we figured out if we do have that same or even close to that same increase, we'll actually need that third
We'll need
semi.
that third one. So
That's
exciting.
our goal for this year
Yeah.
is we want to have a third semi.
because I know Tony, but I think you might remember there was a year that we had a semi leaning because
Yeah.
we had it so full and so heavy, and they're just like, "We think it'll be okay." And we said, "You might want to come see this."
Yeah.
And, so we got a second semi, and hopefully we'll need a third this year.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, thank you, Paula and Jessica, for being our guests. Just to kind of wrap things up, share, what's coming up immediately, some dates, Christmas in July, the National Collection Week as well. Even that spring giveaway coming up next year. I mean, I know it's almost a year away, but go ahead and tell our listeners what's coming up, how can they get involved, and who do they contact? How do they get a hold of you?
Well, I'll start by saying next week is Vacation Bible School here at church, and I'll be talking during mission time about the boxes and sharing with the kids about what goes in a box and how exciting it is to get gifts and to share the love of Jesus with kids who don't know and who have never received a gift. So that's exciting to me to share with those kids. So that's all next week, and that's what we have so far for the youth. Then there'll be packing parties coming up with the little kids and the older kids.
Yeah,
What else, Jessica?
Central Students Mission Week,
Sure.
I think is in July. I think, and they'll be packing at least 100. I think they do at least 100 boxes.
We pack as many as we can because we have a lot of packing to do before November.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would just say don't wait to participate.
Yeah.
We say it's the third week in November, but you can come pick up boxes now. We have hundreds of boxes waiting to be filled, so just stop by anytime. Or like Paula said, you can use a shoebox that you have at home and start collecting items.
Yeah, if you want to drop off, our office hours are Monday through Thursday, 9 to noon,
and
1 to 4. Yeah, I had to stop and think about that. And then Friday from 9 to noon. Church office, 815-673-1581. Or email.
Yeah, involvement at centrallive.net.
Yeah.
But we'd love to have your partnership, and the more packing, the merrier.
Yeah, if you come to church here, you can stop by the involvement desk in the foyer as well. Check out our website too for our contact info.
But I count there's other local churches, 7 other participating churches just in the Streator area drop off boxes the other day. Holy Trinity Preschool.
Yeah.
They collect and drop off boxes, so it's so neat to see that. This isn't just a central project.
Right.
This is
a Streator project.
Streator project that's having a global impact, and we want more people to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if you attend a church and you see the shoe boxes in your foyer, maybe you wonder what that's all about. Talk to your pastor, talk to your church leaders. Bring this to your church as well. I think that's another great thing to for a goal. If you attend a church and want to make an impact globally, this is a great way to do it.
Yeah,
So,
we'll set you up, and
Yeah.
we have the brochures to explain it. There's wonderful videos out there that do it, and we have leadership training that you can attend as well.
very good. All right. Well, thank you, ladies. Any final thoughts? Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Nope. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much,
so
Paul.
much for being here with us, and we'll see you next time on the We're Here podcast.